Testing 1, testing 2. Trying to make sure my mic is working. Welcome back, everybody. Testing 1. Okay, hold on. Let me see. I might have to. I just want to double check my audio because there's nothing worse than doing a live stream with no audio. All right, there we go. All right, you guys. So, as you guys can see, you know, obviously I know most of you guys who are probably watching this live stream right now, you didn't see the live stream before this live stream, which would have been, you know, I did like an hour video trading the New York session, right? The morning session, May 13th, 2026, right? And if you guys go back and watch that video, you guys will see that I highlighted all these red lines were all levels of liquidity, right? These red lines were all level of liquidity, and we found that liquidity on the 15-minute time frame, right? Price action was looking that it was likely going to sweep some liquidity. I didn't know if it was going to sweep all of the liquidity or not, but just based on how the price was moving, you know, I felt like that was going to be the case, right? Now, even with all of that being said, I still was on the wrong side of the market, right? I took a sell, even though I did make money from the sell. It wasn't the right trade, right? And I think I had a really strong grip on what the market was going to do. But, you know, sometimes other things get in the way. Like for me, I was working, you know. You guys could even hear on that live stream, I was talking to people that were unloading my truck, right? But the point of the matter is we did highlight everything that ended up playing out, right? We highlighted it. It's not all about being right, because if you guys stick around long enough, you guys are going to see I get this stuff wrong all the time, right? So the trade that I took was right here off of this order block. I took this trade off of this order block. I did get a little bit of a movement to the downside. That's how I was able to, you know, make a little bit of a profit. But even in that video, if you guys go back and watch that video from earlier this morning, I literally told you guys, I'm looking to get out of this trade as soon as possible because I know I'm on the wrong side, right? I was distracted. I had a million different things going on. But if you guys go, Dutch Van, what are you talking about, man? Were you mauled by a bear? Yes or no? I don't know, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. So, you know, Trump, he's in China right now, you guys. We don't really know when any type of announcements are going to come out, but we can only expect that, you know, more than likely some type of announcement will eventually drop and is going to, you know, shake up the markets, right? Good or bad. It's going to more than likely move the markets in some type of direction. Based on, you know, this price action, I can almost guarantee you it's going to, you know, make the market go up, right? Because just think about the headlines. Nasdaq finally hits 30,000, right? Nasdaq hits 30,000, which is all the way up here, right? And it's going to, it's because that's what it's about. It's all about the headlines, right? Nobody cares about the actual news. Nobody cares about, you know, did Iran, you know, block the Strait or not. It's all about what's moving the markets, right? People act like they care, but really they don't, right? It's all about finding a trade and figuring out what is the next headline going to be. Right, so I am going to be here for a little while. I don't really know how long I'm going to be here, you guys, but if you guys want to look at some crypto markets, you know, if you guys want to look at anything else, make sure y'all drop a comment down below. Let me know if you guys want to look at anything. Right. I'm just here pretty much updating my chart for a little bit. I'm going to be looking at some other charts more than likely. But I'm just essentially just updating my chart and just making sure that I'm ready. I don't think I'm going to trade anything during the Asian session or anything like that. Right? But obviously, you know, this, right? Think about this swing low. I don't know if you guys can see it. And this swing high, right? Think about what I just said. Now we're going to put the drawings back on here. Right? This swing low right here. We already have our Fibonacci tool on this range. But I'm just trying to get you guys to understand, like, you know, this is the range that we have measured. Now, if you stack, you know, this range up, right? So if you stack this entire range on top of each other, you will have this level up here. Now, half of that level is this area right here, which is what? Right around 30,000. So that's what I was saying. You know, just think about it, right? Trump, he's in China. We all know some news is going to come out, right? We don't know if it's going to happen this week, but we know that Nasdaq is obviously is bullish, right? I mean, it's nothing that can stop Nasdaq right now, right? The Nasdaq has been bullish since March, and there's nothing that has stopped it. Everybody was thinking that Nasdaq was getting ready to pull back. They was wrong. Right? So I'm just updating my chart right now because I don't like to have too many things on my chart. I really don't need too many extra lines, too many extra colors. I'm even going to delete these. I don't know if those are new week opening gaps or not. Maybe going to delete this one too. I need to start making sure I label everything as soon as I put it on the chart. All right, we really don't need that. We really don't need. I'm going to keep these first presented fair value gaps on there just for now. But this is essentially what I do all the time, you guys. I'm just here updating my chart, right? Nothing too crazy. Then I'm going to go look at some other charts as well. All right, I want to look at the Trump coin. See what's going on with that. Absolutely disgusting. All right, I want to look at the 6-month chart on the Trump coin. I highlighted this zone, and we've been just working in this zone for so long now. One of the things I'm paying attention to is this wick right here on the 6-month time frame. Right, we can measure out this wick, and you know we want to. Okay, if we're buying this, right? Obviously, I have no Trump coin in my portfolio. I'll just be honest with you guys. The only thing I have in my portfolio right now, I have Ethereum, I have Polkadot, I have Near Protocol, you know, stuff like that, right? I don't have any of Trump coin, but for anybody who possibly is holding a Trump coin, I don't know why. At the bare minimum, you want to see this level right here hold, where this orange line is at, the 25% level. We just measured out this wick right here, this 25% level. Could potentially be a good buy area for the Trump coin. All right. Now we're going to switch to the daily chart. That was the 6-month chart, you guys. So there's nothing on here that's really giving me any type of buy signals. You know, I just don't. I can't see anything on here that's like saying, you know, buy me. You know. Now, let's go look at Zcash, right? Because Zcash has been flying off the. It's been just going crazy. Where is Zcash at? You know what? Since we're already here, let's look at some Ethereum. Ethereum is definitely working. It's definitely, you know, using some of these levels we had marked out. Um, but it still looks really bearish right now. Right, this is the daily time frame for Ethereum. I need to go into a much higher time frame. Let's at least go into the 1-month chart for Ethereum. Because if you know anybody who know me when it comes to crypto, I'm more of an investor than a day trader for crypto. So I like to, you know, look at these higher time frames, right? So you guys can see right here we had this 1-month fair value gap right here marked out on a chart from a long time ago. What I do like is look at these bodies right here. The bodies of these candles are closing perfectly within this fair value gap, so that's actually really good. What I don't like is that we have already went below this green candle, right? So that's not that good. That's still, you know, that's a very bearish sign right there. However, we still, you know, we still respected that 1-month fair value gap, and we did make a swing low, right? So now we have a range on the monthly time frame. We have a range, and actually I'm going to remove this. So if we measure out this range, and we're looking at Ethereum, you guys, 1-month chart from swing high to swing low, right? This yellow line on my chart, that's the 50% level for Ethereum. That's the 50% level for Ethereum. We don't have to go all the way back up there, but it's a high probability that we will likely go back up there. It's a high chance that we will likely get up there, or at least somewhere close up here, right? I did buy the dip. I bought the dip on a lot of crypto, so I'm going to be honest with you guys. Even though I'm a long-term guy, if we get all the way back up here, I'm likely going to take some profits, right? Because we do have a little gap right there, and that's right above, right? So if we get all the way back up there on Ethereum, you know, I was pretty much buying in here. If we get all the way back up there, I'm going to be taking some profits because I still believe that some type of crazy event is going to happen, and I still do believe that we're going to sweep this low right here that I have circled. And, you know, I circled these lows for you guys a long time ago as well, right? So we have this low. We have all of these circled lows. I do think the market is going to want to come back and hit those lows. I know it sounds crazy because that's $750, right? That's an $800 Ethereum. It definitely seems a bit crazy. However, I think it's possible, right? And then we do have this gap, right? So obviously, I want the market to go up. So if the market don't, you know, go down this low, and it starts to move higher, yes, I would love that. But as I said in older videos, right, you have to pay attention to the wicks. I have many videos on wicks. If you guys want to check those out, feel free. Measure out this wick. The midpoint of this wick is going to be very significant. We're on the 6-month time frame, right? So in order for this market to really get bullish, at least in my opinion, based on the trading skills that I have, gained over 8 years of trading, we will need a 6-month candle to close above the midpoint of this wick right here. Once that happens, that's when you're going to really know that crypto is bullish. Everything else is just really a retracement. This is still a bear market for crypto. However, bear markets are the best time for you to get into some projects, right? Get into something. Let me go on CoinGecko real quick. Because I want to show you guys CoinGecko. This is something that I use a lot, right? This is an app that I use a lot. It's called CoinGecko, and what it does is it keeps you up to date with all of the crypto stuff, and it shows you like the top cryptos by market cap and everything else. I mean, is it going to work? Like, come on, no? All right. So right here, right, we got Bitcoin, we got Ethereum, we got the Binance, we got Solana, we got XRP, we got ADA, right? My strategy for crypto has been all about the market cap. Follow the money. I'm not trying to get fancy and trying to do 1,000x and buy something that's like all the way down here somewhere, right? Like the Trump coin, for example. It's funny how we just landed right on the Trump coin. Trump coin only had 558 million of market cap. That's not a lot. If you guys think about how many billionaires are in this world, think about how small that is, right? So the point I'm trying to get to is this, right? If you're looking at crypto, you need to be focusing on the top 25 cryptos, because those are the cryptos that have billions of dollars invested into the project. If you have cryptos in your portfolio that don't have billions of dollars invested into the project, that is a very risky asset that you're holding on to. That's all you have to understand. Right? So me, I fell victim to that as well. I was buying some cryptos that was a little bit too low on the list, and I started to realize, like, wait a minute, I don't want to have like a fucking retarded portfolio. I want a portfolio that's going to be able to, be a long term portfolio. So what I did was, I focused on the cryptos with the bigger market caps. Right? So if it's not in the top 50, I really don't want it, right? So like ICP, that's why I just sold my ICP, because ICP, as much as I love the white paper, as much as I love what the vision, their market cap is just a little bit too low, right? I want to see more big money people get into ICP. Right? Same thing for AVAX. AVAX has fallen lower and lower on this list, because I check this list very often, and I've been noticing AVAX has fallen off tremendously. Pi, I think Pi is pretty cool. One thing I like about Pi is that you can get Pi for free. All you have to do is download their app and mine Pi. You can earn Pi for free. I do have Near Protocol. They're falling a little bit down. I do have some DOT. I bought Uniswap at $4, but then I sold it at $4 because I just feel like Uniswap, they need more, right? They need more things going on. I was buying H-Bar, then I sold it. I sold my Avalanche. So what I did was I started focusing on projects that's like in the top 20, right? So, I have a lot of chain link. Um, I don't have XR. I don't have XMR yet, which is Monero. I don't have that yet. But Zcash have actually overtaken Monero by market cap. That's actually really crazy. That's actually really crazy. So this is just something that I use. CoinGecko. I check this like at least once a week to see, who's moving up and who's moving down. Where's the money flowing to? That's mostly what I look for when I'm on here. I don't really get it too deep into the news or anything. I just like to keep everything simple and ask myself, where's the smart money at? Right? So obviously, Bitcoin and Ethereum, that's where the money is at. Right? Look at the market cap, $272 billion, $1.5 trillion, right? That's crazy. That's a lot of money into those projects, you guys. So that's why I started focusing more on Ethereum. I still don't have any Bitcoin. Um, I wish I would have bought that dip when it went below 60,000. I wish I would have at least started accumulating some when it first went down, but that's okay. I do think another dip is going to happen, and I'll be ready for that dip as well. Solana, I don't have any Solana yet. I'm still waiting. I'm watching Solana like a hawk, but I don't have any Solana just yet. Same thing with Cardano. I'm watching it like a hawk. More than likely, I'm going to start buying Cardano very soon. I've just been watching the chart, so we can go and look at some of these charts. Let's go and pull some of these charts up. My signal is a little bit low. Let me see. Maybe in Arizona right now, and Arizona just doesn't really have good connections if you're not in like a big city area. So let me see if I could put this chart up. Oh, it wasn't that bad. So like Cardano, all right, this is the 6 month chart. So right, we have this gap right here on the 6 month time frame. All right, so I'm gonna lock that. This is where I would love to be buying Cardano at. Pretty much 15 cents or below. Right? We have come so close to taking that liquidity right there. At bare minimum, I want to at least see this thing sweep this liquidity right here. Right? So that's why I haven't bought it yet, because it's keep coming close to swiping that liquidity, but then it just stops in reverse. So I'm waiting. I do think maybe we can get in there, but if we get in here, it's probably going to be very fast. Um, and then there's also this order block down here. All right, we could box that up as well. There's an order block down here as well, right? So I know this sounds crazy. I don't know what's going to happen, but I do think crypto is going to go for a bigger dip to the downside. But what I will say is I don't think it's going to be for long, right? I think so. So you guys see where the market is at right now. I think the market is going to dip down and come right back up, right? So like a classic liquidity sweep. That's what I think is going to happen. So what I'm going to be doing is using limit orders on like my Coinbase account. I'm going to be using like limit orders to get into some of these projects, and then once I get a really good price, I'm holding them for the long term. Right? I'm not even going to look back. I'm just going to buy however much money I got. I'm just going to put it on there and hold it for the long term, right? So now we're looking at AVE. Same thing with AVE. I still like AVE, but it's been real quiet lately. Um, Let me see. Bitcoin. Bitcoin. Let me see. Bitcoin. Same thing. All right. I will measure out this range right here. Right. So you guys can see where this yellow line is at. That's my Fibonacci tool right here. That's 50% level. Bitcoin went below that 50% level, bounced up a little bit, right? So that's expected. But I do think we're going to at least get to this, a lot lower. Right? I've been saying that I think we're going to see a $40,000 Bitcoin, maybe even a $30,000 Bitcoin. I do think it's coming, right? And I'm just going to be prepared for it. That's why I haven't started buying Bitcoin yet, right? I'm waiting. I'm waiting on bigger moves to the downside, and I'm looking at the 6 month chart, right? So if you're looking at higher time frames, like how I'm doing, it really takes away a lot of the confusion because those lower time frames, obviously prices is going to keep moving back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, up and down, right? Now Polkadot, in my opinion, was already making all-time lows, right? So that's why I started buying Polkadot, because Polkadot was already, it's already super low. And if you're buying Polkadot at $1.30, and like let's say one day if it ever break out from its all-time highs, so we're talking about $1,000 could turn into $50,000. So I had to buy Polkadot. I love Polkadot. Um, I just wish that they could get more, more going. Um, and then H bar. I think H bar got some really cool things going on over there as well. So I'm definitely going to be looking to buy H bar again. Even though I do think H bar is going to go a little bit lower, I don't think that this is like that bad of a price for H bar, to be honest. I just don't think it's that bad of a price. What I would look for is this little order block right here. That's what I would look for. Right, and this is the 1 month time frame that we're looking at for H bar. Right, this is like these are equal lows right here. So we know that H bar is going to want to eventually come down here and sweep this liquidity. Maybe it's touching to that order block and then bounce back up, right? So a limit order that I'm going to be using for H bar is about 60 cents and below for a limit order for H bar, right? So I'm going to be using that for H bar. And that's all I've been really trying to do, you guys. Just like put a little bit of money each week into my Coinbase or my Kraken account, and then try to start setting these limit orders, right? I wanted to at first build up a position that was actually worth something. So you know what? I want to look at IBM because I recently was watching a YouTube video and I just found out something that was like really fascinating to me. But IBM is one of the only companies in the world right now that have a quantum computer. So once I found that out, I was like, "Whoa, I got to put this on my watch list. This thing might be a good investment opportunity." So I mean, this is a massive pullback for IBM, and it's crazy because this is one of the only companies with a quantum computer. I mean, just think about that, bro. Like this has to be a really good investment opportunity, right? If we could get a pullback somewhere in there, right, $160 or below, I would love to at least get 5 shares of fucking IBM. I know it's not much, but when I'm doing these investments, honestly, mostly I'm thinking about something I can pass down to my children. I'm not really trying. little bit of a retracement, nothing too crazy. More than likely not going to be trading Nasdaq during this Asian session, so I think that's all. I think that's going to be it for me, you guys. Just wanted to give y'all a quick update on everything that's going on, and then I'll be in Phoenix, Arizona tomorrow morning. So if I get enough time to do a stream, I'll definitely do a stream tomorrow morning, and I hope to see some of you guys there. So with that said, I hope everybody is doing well. I hope everybody have a great night, and I will see y'all tomorrow, man. Peace out.